I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 17th, 2014 Blount County Board of Commissioners meeting. Please at this time give your attention to the emergency evacuation procedures.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Commission will come to order. Please register your presence by voting yes. Deputy Clerk.
No. We have 19 present, 1 absent.
19 present, 1 absent. Commissioner Folk sends his regrets. He is ill tonight. Chair will stand for motion to set the agenda. Ms. Lambert moves. Commissioner Burkhalter seconds. Discussion. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to set the agenda. Vote no not to set.
You have 19 yes.
19 yes, 0 no. The agenda set is published. Agenda item B, the consent calendar. Chair will stand for a motion to approve the consent calendar. Commissioner French moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. Discussion. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the consent calendar. Vote no not to approve.
You have 19 yes, 0 no.
19 yes, 0 no. The consent calendar is approved. At this time, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Burkhalter for a presentation.
At this time, I'm going to ask for representatives from Child Help and from New Hope to please come forward. With us tonight is Tabitha Dameron, Executive Director of New Hope Child Advocacy Center, and Hugh Nystrom, Executive Director of Child Help of East Tennessee. Come on up. I don't bite. Proclamation. Whereas April has been proclaimed National Child Abuse Prevention Month to promote child abuse awareness and prevention strategies so that the physical, social, and emotional well-being of children and families can be preserved and protected. And whereas more than 800,000 children are confirmed as victims of abuse or neglect each year in the United States, and the effects of child abuse and neglect are felt by whole communities, and finding solutions depends on the cooperation and involvement of the community as a whole. And whereas New Hope Blount County Children's Advocacy Center is an accredited not-for-profit agency established in 2000 by local professionals and community volunteers to create a safe place for child abuse victims that facilitates the coordinated efforts of attorneys, government agencies, law enforcement, medical personnel, mental health professionals, and family members in a single child-friendly, home-like environment so that the trauma to the child victim is minimized to the fullest extent possible. And whereas Child Help Children's Center of East Tennessee is an accredited not-for-profit agency established in 1995, and through the coordinated efforts of medical personnel, law enforcement, child protection investigators, and mental health professionals, the center provides a single location for those professionals to provide their services in order to reduce the secondary trauma to the child and to produce more reliable cases against the perpetrators so that the child never has to experience abuse again. And whereas during the past decade, New Hope and Child Help have collectively provided assistance to more than 4,500 abused and neglected children in Blount County's community. And whereas, because of the efforts of New Hope and Child Help, children in the Blount County community who are victims of abuse and neglect have a safe place for protection and healing, their family members are provided with information and support, and the community as a whole is provided with resources for education about the facts associated with child abuse and neglect and the strategies for intervention in prevention of the abuse and neglect of children. And whereas Blount County sincerely appreciates the hard work, commitment, and courage of these organizations and the extraordinary contributions they have made to the community, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Blount County, Tennessee, meeting in the regular session this 17th day of April 2014, that New Hope Blount County Children's Advocacy Center and Child Help Children's Center of East Tennessee are hereby recognized and honored for their outstanding contributions to the children and citizens of Blount County, Tennessee, and we ask all Blount County citizens to applaud their outstanding service to our children, our families, and our community.
At this time, the chair recognizes Commissioner Birchfield and Commissioner Tom Green.
Yes.
Tony, will you, and you guys come up, and Ed, will you come up here?
You have the floor, Commissioner Birchfield.
I know you guys know that you're looking at an exemplary group of people here. I'm just going to read the proclamation, and it says it all. Whereas during 2008, the Maryville Fire Department, under the leadership of then Chief Ed Mitchell, received accreditation from the Commission of Fire Accreditation International. And whereas reaccreditation requires that the Maryville Fire Department complete a rigorous 5-year process which measures and tests 186 performance indicators, as well as throughout the evaluation of the department's strategic plan and specific standards of coverage, which addresses the community's risk, safety needs, and requirements. And whereas during March 2014, the Maryville Fire Department, under the leadership of Safety Director Tony Crisp, Deputy Chief David Hodges, and Accreditation Manager Captain Mike Kaler, achieved reaccreditation by CFAI and remains as one of the 4 accredited fire departments in the state of Tennessee and of 187 departments worldwide. And whereas Blount County is proud of the Maryville Fire Department and their determination to be the best of the best while striving to achieve their ultimate goal of saving lives and reducing in fire losses. And whereas Blount County is blessed to have the Maryville Fire Department and the department of 39 talented, devoted, and professional team members serving the citizens of our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Blount County, Tennessee, and Blount County Mayor Ed Mitchell, assembling in regular session on the 17th day of April, that we hereby honor, recognize, and congratulate the Maryville Fire Department, not only for their outstanding achievement, but also for their service, their sacrifice to make Blount County and the city of Maryville a wonderful and safe place to call home. So thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Now move on to agenda item C, public input on items on the agenda. If you'll come forward, Ms. Ross, please.
Carol Ross, District 1. Tonight I come before you to speak on item F3, which is the codes that you are discussing to adopt. Now, first of all, you're wanting to take them to 2012. Currently, you have 2006, and you're being told that you have to do 2012 because of the 7-year gap at the state level. At the agenda meeting, I told you why this is not necessarily true and the different options that you do have. What I want to bring before you tonight is that in the list of the changes that have been made, you have items where the wording has been changed back to read the same as the 2006 level. And what I don't understand is why, if we have to update it to 2012, are we changing the wording to 2006 and not just keeping the 2006? The Codes Enforcement Department lists its mission as to protect and serve the citizens of Blount County through the fair and ethical enforcement of adopted construction codes, zoning regulations, and construction safety standards. In the middle of page 3 on your guide, it says that another significant change in the International Energy Conservation Code is that a significant change is reflected in the requirement for more efficient light bulbs used in electrical fixtures. The code requires at least 75% of the bulbs be high efficacy. This requirement will be difficult to enforce. This is a comment made by the codes enforcement officer, not by me. Now, my question is, why is the codes department keeping it if it's difficult to enforce? I also would like for you to investigate the fact that how will this be enforced during construction if no light bulbs are in the electrical fixtures? And how will this be enforced after construction is completed without entering an occupied business or residence? This may not bother you, commissioners, but it does bother me because I feel there are a lot of unanswered questions about this particular code that's being considered. Sometimes I just want to be a pirate and sail the seven seas. I thank you.
I'm Linda King with Citizens for Blount County's Future. I'd like to back up what Carol Ross just said. The statement with these international codes says that the statement was made and guaranteed that existing homes would be unaffected. Personally, I don't trust guarantees from our present officials or department heads. Once a code is accepted, the camel's nose is under the tent. Tomorrow they can change the wording and include all structures. What happens when you try to sell that grandfathered home? Will it then need to be brought up to a certain acceptable code, costing a lot of money to the present homeowner? It looks like the international code is being forced upon people by an unelected department supervisor for the benefit of simplicity for builders, instead of just enforcing your own rules set up by the state fire marshal, which could be much less stringent. And the light bulbs mentioned. What's the plan? To come into your home to check your lamps? Even Mr. Teague stated it would be difficult to enforce, so why require it? Will Justin Teague be on call to clean up the hazardous material, the mercury, when a light bulb gets broken? That's a question we need to think about.
This time we'll move to the next item of business, item D1, the election to fill vacancy in the office of the Blount County Board of Commissioners, District 8, Seat B. Deputy Clerk, has the required statutory notices been given to the public, the Commission, and other parties as required by TCA 55-111?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
The chair did cause to be published in the newspaper of general circulation on April the 2nd, 2014, as required by statute. Pursuant to the public notice, the chair has allowed registered voters to submit names in writing to the chair prior to this meeting. There has been no names submitted to the chair. At this time, are there additional names that any registered voter would like to submit to the chair? At this time, is there an additional name that any registered voter would like to submit to the chair? The floor is now open for the members of the commission to nominate candidates to fill the office of Blount County Commissioner, District 8, Seat B. The nomination does not require a second. Commissioner Gamble, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to nominate Gordon Wright II.
Commissioner Roy Gamble nominates Gordon E. Wright II. Are there additional nominations? The chair will stand for a motion to close nominations. Commissioner Burkhalter moves, second by Commissioner Carver. All in favor of closing nominations say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Nominations are closed. The chair will now recognize any member of the commission for purpose of discussion. Commissioner Gamble, you recognized?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did it come off?
Are the members ready to vote? vote yes to elect Gordon E. Wright as the nominee. Vote no, not to elect. "19 yes, 0 no, 1 absent. Gordon E. Wright II is hereby appointed Blount County Commissioner, District 8, Seat B. If you'll please come forward, Mr. Wright. Judge Brewer is available.
Mr. Wright, are you ready to take the oath of office? Raise your right hand, please. I, Gordon Wright II,
I, Gordon Wright II,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will perform with fidelity
that I will perform with fidelity
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
to which I've been elected
to which I have been elected
and which I'm about to assume.
and which I'm about to assume.
I do solemnly swear to support
I do solemnly swear to support
the constitutions of Tennessee and the United States
the constitutions of Tennessee and the United States
and to faithfully perform the duties of the office of County Commissioner
and to faithfully perform the duties of County Commissioner
representing Seat B
representing Seat B
of the 8th Commission District of Blount County, Tennessee.
of the 8th Commission Districts of Blount County, Tennessee.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Print your name up there and sign it there. We need about 3 copies.
Okay.
Same thing. Congratulations again. Pleasure of mine to serve on the commission with your father. Your son will be real proud.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. If I get by.
There is no business under item E. Next item of business is item F1A. The chair will stand for motion on item F1A, request for a budget transfer in the general county fund, $30,000. Commissioner Helton, you're recognized.
I make a motion to transfer F1A, B, and C.
Motion by Commissioner Helton to move items F1, A, B, and C, and it's seconded by Commissioner Samples. The motion is to approve budget transfers in the general county fund. Discussion? Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the transfers. Vote no not to approve.
You have 20 yes, 0 no.
20 yes, 0 no. The transfers are approved. Next item of business is F2A. The chair will stand for a motion on F2A, resolution number 1404008, amending the general county fund budget by $2,500. Commissioner Lewis moves. Commissioner Gamble seconds. The motion is to adopt resolution 1404008. Discussion. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
You have 20 yes and 0 no.
20 yes, 0 no. The resolution is adopted. Next item of business is F2B, resolution 1404009, amending the general county fund budget by $6,500. Commissioner Lambert moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. The motion is to adopt resolution 1404009. Maker of the motions, Commissioner Lambert, will you accept moving all? Pardon me?
Only if it's a friendly amendment.
If the maker of the motion will amend and Commissioner Carver will amend a second, the pending motion is to adopt resolutions 1404009, 010, and 011. Are the members ready for the question? The motion is to adopt resolutions 1404009, 010, 1404012, and 1404011. Are we clear? Vote yes to adopt the resolutions. Vote no not to adopt.
You have 20 yes, 0 no.
20 yes, 0 no. The resolutions are adopted. Next item of business is F3. Chair will stand for a motion on resolution number 1404003, adopting and incorporating by reference the provisions of the 2012 edition of the Comprehensive International Building and Fire Codes and the 2010 ADA Standards for Accessible Design for the unincorporated area of Blount County and those incorporated cities within Blount County which have not adopted their own codes regulating building safety and construction.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Kaler moves. Commissioner Kirby seconds. The motion is to adopt resolution 1404003. Commissioner Birchfield, you're recognized.
May I ask a few questions of Mr. Teague?
State your question, Commissioner.
Okay, with what some of the people in the community ask, I just want to clarify, this is for construction, commercial properties, correct? This is not individual homes.
Mr. Teague will come forward and be recognized.
This will include commercial and residential. Yes. Yes.
In order, please. Commissioner, Mr. Teague
yes,
has
new
the
construction
floor.
for commercial and residential.
And I'm going to get
Commissioner Birchfield, let me turn your mic back on if you have
I'm
additional
sorry.
questions.
Yes, I do. And it's just one more. The resale, though, and it was also brought up, what about, are the older homes, they are going to be grandfathered in? Older homes will not have to meet this criteria if they go back on the market, correct?
Mr.
correct.
Teague, Mr. Teague, you're recognized. Please answer.
That is correct. Unless the homeowner wants to do any type of remodel or renovations, permits will be required. At that point in time, they would have to meet the 2012 codes.
Okay.
But if no renovation, no remodeling, then yes, it can sell as is and it would be grandfathered.
Commissioner Hasty, you're recognized.
I have a question for Mr. Teague also.
State your question.
I asked last week on what the discussion has been on the resale, and you told me that it was, or the new construction only. Had a citizen ask me this week. At what point in time will any of the existing home have to be brought into compliance? If it's just the addition, the existing does not have to be brought up to the new code, correct?
Mr. Teague, you're recognized. Please answer.
Correct. Just the portion that will be renovated or remodeled.
I have one more.
State your question, sir.
And at any time, I understand that the one selling the home, it will not have to be brought up to the new code. What if that person then who bought the home a couple of years later sells the home? Does he have to ever bring that up?
Mr. Teague, you're recognized.
No, they will not. Not unless there's any type of renovation or remodeling for that home.
Commissioner Kaler, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have a question, I have a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Teague.
I've been a career firefighter for over 25 years. I am a Tennessee State Certified Fire Inspector. I do supervise the fire code and fire prevention activities for the city of Maryville. And I would add that our current mayor, Ed Mitchell, served as the fire marshal for the city of Maryville for a number of years. And I feel confident that he, more so than most, will understand the intent of these codes. I want to speak specifically, or more specifically, I should say, towards the fire code portion of F3. There is one intent, and one intent only, in regard to the enforcement of the fire code, and it's life safety. Nothing else, okay? I welcome anyone in the audience to go back to their homes tonight, get on the internet and search and look and see how many people die in house fires every year in this country. And then I want to challenge you to go look and see how many firefighters die in house fires every year. As technology improves, so does building construction. Things get smaller, things get constructed differently than they were back 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago. A 2x4 is no longer a 2x4. A 2x8 is no longer a 2x8. These structural members become smaller. Just because it is new technology does not necessarily mean that it is, I need to be careful what I say here, it's necessarily safer in the event that we have a structure fire. Collapse is a significant incident in which a building is built to code, but the materials that are used, the methods of construction, do not yield themselves well for my brothers and sisters who have to go put that fire out. So I just say this simply, life safety is the only issue. And if anybody wants to argue with me about that, then I welcome you to. Thank you.
Commissioner Carver, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. My father was a firefighter. He lost half of his left, a third of his right lung, and died at 58. So he gave his life in being a firefighter. And safety. Just growing up and seeing him having to struggle as he did to just breathe. I mean, I went into my career as a therapist, a respiratory therapist, because of my father. And if we can protect people in the community and the firefighters, the first responders, I'm all for this. It's a sad thing to see someone have to suffer to get a breath in because they were exposed to something so bad. And when some of these things that are in homes go into fires or become a fire, the chemicals that they're exposed to are devastating to a body. So I am for this. Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner Samples, you're recognized.
Yes, I have one question. I don't know who to ask it to.
State your question, sir.
Can someone give us a definitive answer as to whether or not the homeowners insurance rates, will they rise if this is not passed? Or will it affect them at all? I don't know who to ask that question of.
Mr. Teague, Mr. Fields, does...
Need an insurance person, I guess. I don't know.
I can allude to that.
Just a moment. Mayor Mitchell, do you have anything to add, sir?
In response to that, your insurance rates will not rise. If you don't build that home or that commercial structure to code, you won't get insurance at all. That's just the way it is. They're not going to insure anything that does not have a certificate of occupancy that has been issued by a codes department that has witnessed that building structure, residential or commercial, to be built in accordance with the code.
Ask your question, Mr. Samples.
Mayor, what you're saying is...
Please ask a question to the chair, sir.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. So if you're doing a new construction in one of these subdivisions and we've not passed these codes, does that mean a person buying that house would not be able to get homeowners?
Mayor Mitchell,
If we don't
pass
these codes, the fact that we have to pass these codes, that is state law. We have to stay in compliance with so many years within the state of Tennessee, and they have the codes passed. We are an exempt county, which means that we do our own inspections. We do our own building and residential inspections. The state says we have to stay in compliance with where they are on the years that they have adopted in their code. If we don't stay in compliance, the state will not recognize us as being an exempt county. You know, I don't know what the consequences would be to that. I mean, the codes are there, just like Commissioner Kaler said. The codes are there for life safety. You know, even the building codes themselves and the electrical code, the number one priority for every one of those codes is life safety. And that's the reason the codes are there. And not just from fire, but structure collapse in hurricanes and structure collapse in earthquakes. You know, there's all sorts of reasons that you have these codes and that you pass these codes. But the number one reason is life safety. If we don't have them, there's no insurance company that's going to insure a building that has not been built in accordance with these codes.
It's okay. Thank you. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt Resolution 1404003. Vote no, not to adopt.
Now 20 yes, 0 no.
20 yes, 0 no. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F4. The chair will stand for motion on F4, resolution number 1404004, to set forth procedures for placing portraits of county commissioners in the Blount County Commission meeting room. Commissioner Burkhalter, seconded by Commissioner French. Motion is to adopt 1404004. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt. Vote no not to adopt.
You have 20 yes, 0 no.
20 yes, 0 no. The resolution's adopted. This time we'll move to agenda item G, announcements and statements. The chair has been served by the City of Townsend. Resolution requesting the Blount County Election Commission to conduct a referendum at the next municipal election on increasing the local sales tax in the City of Townsend. This is notice given to the Blount County Legislative Body by the City of Townsend, just for announcement. That will be, we do have a right to forbear to go ahead and stop that, but we have it on the ballot for May the 6th, so there'll be little need to do that. But I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. Does anyone else have an announcement or a statement? Moving on to item H on the agenda, public input on items not on the agenda. You'll come forward, Ms. Ross.
Since I feel like I've been totally demonized at this point, I think that I need to come up here and defend myself. Number one, I did not at any point in time say that these codes should not be adopted. What I asked was, why are we adopting the 2012 codes but changing all of the changes back to 2006, keeping exactly what we have? To answer a question of what happens if you don't adopt the 2012, if the state has something more recent than 2006, we have to comply with the state level. That's all. There's no penalty monetarily, nothing else. We comply with the state. Yes, we may not be exempt from that code anymore, but we will go with the state. That's what the Tennessee Code Annotated says we do. The only code I questioned was the light bulb code, and why it would be necessary to even tell us what kind of light bulbs to use. Since that's all that's being made anymore, seems to me that we won't have much of a choice of what to use. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And fellow commissioners, I hope you'll indulge me a few minutes. I rise in honor of a fellow commissioner, a former commissioner, who is no longer with us. His picture's on the back wall, Richard Williams. When he addressed this assembly, if it was important to him, he rose and talked to the people. I rise in honor of him because the matter I speak on, I feel is very important. What is that matter? Sales tax referendum. I know folks don't like to hear that. Well, people, it's coming up on May 6th. And to be honest with you, I want to put the facts in front of you people. I want you to know what the facts are. Now, you don't have to believe me. We've got offices downstairs that you can go and talk to people that will verify what I'm getting ready to tell you. Now, to be honest with you, I've read so much literature and I've seen so many figures, my head's swimming like that. Fact. This is a fact. Tennessee is one of the least, if not the least, taxed state in this great nation. Blount County is in the bottom half of the counties in the least taxed state in the nation in property tax. It's a fact. It's a fact. Don't believe me? Go check it. Go look at it. I've heard so much about the debt service in the last 4 years that the people want us to pay down the debt. We've got to pay down the debt. I've read in literature, handout literature. Let's see. The county is $220 million in debt. The county is $221 million in debt. The county is $243 million in debt. And the last one I read this morning, the county is, and I want you to get this, $250 million in debt. Well, that's $250 million. But it sounds like it's so much more when you say $250 million. But let me give you a fact. I don't care how you say it. They're all falsehoods. As of today, the county is $206 million in debt. That's a fact. Go downstairs and check it. Susan, what are the office hours? I'm sorry. Office hours downstairs are 8 to 4:30. You can go in any time. These people won't bite you. They're good people. They'll give you the facts. Just go down there and find out. That's a fact. Let's talk about facts. In the last 14, 15 months, Alcoa has collected $2.7 million. That's a fact. You can check the records. Blount County's money, $2.7 million. Here's another fact regarding $2.7 million. That's 9 cents on the property tax rate. 9 cents. I get animated because I'm fired up about this sales tax. And I want you to have the facts. The facts. Not what you read in the papers, not what you read in literature. You don't even have to believe me. Just seek the people that can give you the facts. That's all I'm asking you to do. Now, I'm going to ask a question. It's a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer. How many people here shop in Alcoa and Maryville? I'm be willing to bet 85 to 90% of the people in this room shop in Maryville and Alcoa. Guess what, folks? It's a fact. You're paying it now. You're paying the sales tax now. You can laugh all you want to, but it's a fact. Okay? Mistaken notion. Well, if we pass this sales tax, it's going up in Maryville and Alcoa. Sorry, it's not going up. That's a fact. They're at 9 3/4. They're as far as they can go. They're not going up. What are the consequences of that sales tax if we pass? And I've got notes here because I want to make sure I give you the facts, the straight facts. What are the consequences? You eat down the road, you eat breakfast at the Ellejoy Market, at the Easy Stop, eat lunch, Subway. That $5.25 breakfast, that $5.25 lunch, what's it going to cost you after this sales tax passes? Do the math. It's a whopping $5.28. Let me think. I'm not a math wizard, but to me, that's 3 cents difference. 3 cents. Now, let's stop and think. You're going to vote no to pay 3 cents that we can swap for $2.7 million a year? Come on, people. That's a no-brainer. And I'm sorry my fellow commissioner, Mr. Poach, is not here. Because sometimes I like one of his phrases, and that is, that doesn't pass the common sense test with me. If I could get that kind of return on my money, you think I'd be here talking to you tonight? No. I'd be somewhere in the Riviera, in the Bahamas. I'd be spending the money I earned. 3 cents for $2.7 million. Think about it. You're going to say, I'm a little long-winded, fellow commissioners, but I want to get my point across. I want to get the facts. You're going to say, well, if Blount County passes this tax, I'm just going to go to the surrounding counties. I'll go to Knox County or Sevier County. I'll go to Monroe County or Loudoun County. You can go there, but guess what? It's another fact. Knox County and Sevier County are 9.75%. And if you want to drive to Monroe County or Loudoun County from here, you're going to save 50 cents on $100. Do the calculation on the gas you're going to spend driving back and forth. You're going to save 50 cents, all right, on $100. How much gas are you going to save? Here's another fact. Tourism dollars, tax dollars, tourism dollars in 2012, $37 million was spent in Blount County in tourism. Do a little math there. Take 0.5% of that, see what you come up with. We missed out on that. And I know this is a sore spot for some of you folks, but let's talk about tax in general. Property tax. Most of us are going to pay property tax. If you own property, you're going to pay it. And where's that money going to come? I'm going to tell you where it's going to come. Right here. Bam! Off of the hip, right there. Your hip. Now, guess what? You might get a little help from your spouse to pay that. Let's talk about a wheel tax, which we're fortunate enough not to have here in Blount County. We don't have a wheel tax, but if we did, where's that tax money coming from? Right here off the other hip, because this is a property tax hip, this is going to be the wheel tax hip, okay? Now, let's talk about sales tax. It's going to come out of your hip pocket again, but it's the only tax I know that I can think of that we're going to get help to pay. You say, what? What are you talking about? Well, we've got people outside the county, outside the state, outside the country that come here. Why, you say? Smoky Mountains National Park, most visited park in the country. Guess what they do when they come here? Spend money. Guess what? That's tax dollars for Blount County. Now, these are all facts. And I see people shaking their head. It's a fact. People, check it out. It's a fact. And another fact is, it's just not a one-time tax. Guess what? It goes on from on and on and on and on. That's $2.7 million for the next umpteen years. But it'll probably increase because with Costco and Sam's and all those people coming here, that's going to increase the tax revenue. I'm passionate. Bottom line, let's talk about, I'm going to leave you with a couple of thoughts. Bottom line right now. 3 thoughts. One, the money is going to education, and part of it's going to pay down the debt. That's a good thing. Secondly, you people may think you're Blount County's future. You may think that. This group up here may think we're Blount County's future. Truth is, we may make some decisions up here that will affect Blount County's future. But guess what? You know where Blount County's future is? You know where it is? Stop and think about it. Where is it? There's 21 buildings out in the county, surrounding the county. And guess what? Monday morning, Blount County's future is going to be sitting behind desks in those 21 buildings. That's right, the students in Blount County schools. Folks, we've got an opportunity to invest in Blount County's future. Right here. It's time to step up and invest in the future. You've got to vote the sales tax in. It's a no-brainer. Face the facts. I'll leave you with one thought. One of the greatest entrepreneurs in our country, just a fantastic businessman, Henry Ford, made this statement. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. And folks, we need to work together so we can build Blount County's future. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me address you. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.